Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Batman Arkham Asylum. So, I looked up the defeat two people with the grapnel attack here. Glide boost attack. It's not a grapnel boost attack, and I keep confusing that in my mind. Apparently, it is this glide kick, but then after you do the glide kick, you have to hold down the right trigger, which means you have to have somebody else that is somewhere close to it. So yeah, there's just this whole other function that you do, and I didn't quite get that right in that case. So yeah, you do this, and then I guess you press the Y button when you hit this to do that. And then you have to have someone else near you, near that guy, to do a double. So
this place gets more dangerous every day.
Yeah. Something as easy as like this is like really.
He's here.
Like, yeah, of course. At this rate, I'm potentially going to die before pulling it off. Otherwise, all we have left to do is one fight with Catwoman, and then Catwoman needs to get the remaining 5 things in the steel mill.
When I find Bruce Wayne, I'm collecting the reward and buying my way out of here.
Yeah. I might be able to pull off that one. Like if I could get the angle a little bit different here, so that one attack happens. But can we do a glide attack, or do we have to? Or is this going to be a drop attack?
It's colder than the snowman's heart out here.
There you go. Glide kick. Hit that. Hit this.
The bat's here. Smoke. It's bad at Blackgate. Oh, this place is way worse.
Let's see if we can find the instructions, because it still seems like it's kind of not quite working. Glide. Glide kick. Hold right trigger to dive bomb tackle while glide kick locked on. So maybe I'm just not hitting it. I'm hitting it too early, possibly. But in that instructions, even, like, you'd have to read this bottom part. Let's see. To get better explanations. While gliding through the streets or perched up high, you can target an enemy within range for a glide kick. The glide kick will knock most enemies to the ground, making an effective way to initiate combat with the group. While used on an isolated target, an effective tactic is to immediately follow up with a ground takedown to finish them off. If you want to focus your attack completely on your target, hold the dive bomb button after locking on for more damage. There's nothing here that implies that the dive kick, the glide kick should activate any kind of trick whatsoever or against a second character. Like, I don't know how you just don't call this game unfinished in that aspect. It does seem insanely
Feel
ridiculous
this place getting worse, minute by minute.
that wouldn't have been better explained. Let's see, when you're in detective mode, you can't get the prompts. Now we have the Riddler laughing.
No one's seen Wayne since he got in here. He's probably dead already.
What it feels like you need to do probably is line up these guys in such a way that they would be back to back first, and that's how I saw someone actually do it, is that they lined up. Alright, so glide first, now charge.
Scout, it's Batman!
And then yeah, it's not really working. And we're getting further and further away from the challenge spot. Like I would have to basically try and work over to where Bane was, or just try to work over to another area. Meanwhile, it's very possible that we still won't get the Catwoman unlocked, so that'll be that. And I guess the Joker sound effect that plays is just a weird Joker laughing sound effect, because we know there's no destructible objects or anything in the game. Or if there is some weird secret destructible object that's not being marked on the map, I'll never be able to find it.
I think I'm going to enjoy this.
This really is going to just end on a fizzle. Like, the plan here is to not engage with Catwoman. Her health is too low to try and use that as a... Seriously?
I hope Strange died in a really painful way.
Yeah. Her health is just too low to try and take on anybody at all. And we very possibly are going to run into... Very possibly going to run into several enemies inside the steel mill. This would be funny if this turned out to be a one-way door, but I don't see a way that Catwoman even makes it into the steel mill if that's the case. Alright. So on the map, we've got one this way, and then everything else is the other way. So my biggest concern would be to walk in here and find a whole bunch of enemies. And I think the game is going to cut me a break and make sure that doesn't happen. Ventilation system. I guess the question here is, do we crawl through this vent to crawl through here, crawl through here, crawl through here to get into this area? Or do we go over here I think it's probably safest to start with this. We just gotta figure out where that entrance is. Which none of these vent things seem to be openable. It seems like you have to start here. I hope this doesn't just end up putting us in the completely wrong place. But it very possibly will. Now, she can't get past that. So, unless this wraps around. Are we in the right place now? I think we are. What's funny is we're still crawling, I guess, but I think we're walking, and yet we're in first person perspective. And that doesn't make any sense. I guess we are crawling still. Wouldn't feel like we're crawling. This is another example of the game feeling awkwardly weird in that Catwoman feels like she's really smaller, way smaller than she should be. Feels like she's a child. Alright, we are here. Which may very well have meant that there was not a reason to go this way. I guess this is another example of a very long area that would have been nice if there was an extra exit somewhere. That one's blocked off. We have to go this way. Go this way. Go this way. Go back here. Come on. Yeah, I guess that's an example where in some places in the level you have to hold down the trigger to come out of that first person mode. Okay, so that was a huge waste of time. I just needed to have gone through the door. I don't feel like most people probably would have caught all this, remembered where all this collectibles stuff was. We might run into a scenario here where Catwoman can't actually move through this. Like, that doesn't do anything to that. That doesn't do anything to that. That doesn't do anything to that. There's gotta be a vent or something. I'm hoping there's a vent or something. It would be very annoying if this turned out to not be the right direction and it was in that other area. I am here. This would take you downward to there. So interesting. So I'm here. Can't do anything with that. Although it does interestingly hang. Can't do anything with that. It would be really crazy if this turned out to be a destructible environment and Batman had to break it first, and I just never noticed that. So that curves back to this, which maybe curves back to this. Maybe it's over here. Yeah. I bet it's over here. Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, that was a lot of frustration. 3 different directions to figure out where one Riddler trophy is. And certainly, it's fairly dull, here, playing as Catwoman with no conflicts at all. Nobody to fight. This is a nice little taste of what the game, I think, probably should have been for Catwoman, but it also shows that playing as Catwoman can only really last as maybe some stealth missions where she can't be seen at all, just immediate reset and game over if she's spotted. And that would have to be fairly limited. You couldn't have more than, I'd say, about 5 hours of gameplay like that. Meanwhile, though, I would say you certainly would want more than the 2 to 3 hours of actual gameplay that they do give you with Catwoman. Like, clearly somebody just shot their mouth off and said you could play as Catwoman in this game, and then they quickly rushed to make that statement true. Right. So this puts us upside down in this area, so we're not really in a different area to go around and do that. And we could come over here and see if Catwoman would talk to these 2 guys, but they wouldn't. Alright, this door is locked. So we're gonna have to go through this door, which it would be weird if this door is empty. If this next room is empty, but I guess it is. So take your pick as to whether this is empty because you're playing as Catwoman or whether this is empty because Batman relatively recently killed all the characters in this level. The fact that it is empty certainly eliminates any chance of me getting a getting that fight mechanic trophy done. Right, so down here. Nope, it's just up there. When you have the whip, you can't whip these Riddler trophies or anything anyways. Alright. So grab the ledge. Grab that trophy. We have I believe, one more. And it kind of feels like at that point the game should just transport you out of Arkham City. And just tell you, look, there's nothing more to collect. There's nothing more to do. I wanted to check to see if that Harley Quinn statue was broken still. I thought perhaps it wouldn't be. Alright, so climb down here. And then climb to the ceiling here. Alright. Climb to the ledge if I can get that prompt. And that is everything, with the exception of the fight mechanic for her, which maybe that gives you an achievement, and the fight mechanic for Batman. So yeah, now it's just a matter of trying out the other no enemies here even. I'm trying to leave via this way, and I'm wondering if maybe the game won't let me. It's a pounce button, but there's no ledge grab, which I don't see a real reason why there isn't a ledge grab. There's no pounce to the ceiling or any kind of move this way, which feels like there should be something like that. Although in all fairness, if I were to run out that door, I would just get attacked and killed fairly quickly also. Would be nice if you could just exit. Which maybe there's a thought to that too. If we were to exit out of the entire game. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just quit to the main menu. Nope, it's too dangerous. You might lose progress. So at least let's run until we see a save spot, and well, it says it's saving there. So if it's saving there, and then we exit out to the main menu, and then we resume from last checkpoint, and we'll pick a bat suit. Nope, that doesn't help you in any way. Yeah. So, yeah, there's basically no way to speed up this process and get you out of one of these temples. These Zelda-esque like temples. Or buildings quickly. And in this instance, there's clearly flaws in many of these areas in which there's just not an easy way out. Alright. So ideally, what we need to do now is find a fight that we can win, which is either going to be the hassle of going through the subway as Catwoman to go all the way this direction, or just work our way around. And I guess we'll try working our way around. Unless we can find something. Like 3 characters here. You'd think wouldn't be that much. But because they're armed, it makes them too much. You need to go find some simplistic weaklings over in the Bowery.
There's got to be a way, right?
So you have to run this direction. And then it's really just no reason that there was never a reason in the game for Catwoman to reach this section and cross this area. We may not need to go all the way to the Bowery. We could possibly just find a decent group of people down that direction. And her little angel fall.
Who's next?
Okay. This doesn't look too bad. Alright, let's... We need to punch.
You won't be walking away from here, Catwoman!
We want a combo blow. And we want to get the prompt. And then we want to do the other one. One is AX and one is AB. And you have to do it in the same flow. And that didn't work. Let's see. It says perform the combo whiplash and the combo whip, which the combo whiplash is this A and X. This brutal combo special move unleashes a fury of rapid whip strikes in all directions and inflicts damage to all enemies. For maximum impact, position yourself in the center of a group. This special combo move can only be performed after your combo score reaches 8 or above. Okay. This combo special move trips up all enemies surrounding you, which can be very effective when overwhelmed by a large group of enemies. This also breaks up the number of attackers at any given time, giving the opportunity to perform a great ground takedown if a number of enemies is low enough. This special combo move can only be performed if you reach a combo score of 8 or above. So, I have to find a bigger group of people that are hopefully not gun-toting bad guys. And you're probably best suited to just take on the guys, I think, in front of the courthouse. Yeah, I call it a ground fall, but actually, if I think about it, it is better described as the Assassin's Creed jump, and I did call it that earlier. Right.
So cold.
We might be hitting. She doesn't have a ground smash attack. I hope I don't get down here and find out that there's a lot of gun-toting people. Weapon toting's fine, gun toting's the problem. Alright.
What's she doing here?
Alright, 1, 2, 3, counter. 1, 2, got a counter. 1, 2, 3, counter. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, counter. Nope. Counter. 1, counter. 1, counter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm trying to count, but I probably just need to focus on countering and keeping the combo flowing. Yeah, and there's no upgrade in this game that builds for that combo. And as soon as I want to do the combo, special combo move, you do kind of run into the problem of then needing to wait for the prompt. And see, that might have been a good thing to die there, because then we have another opportunity. Or that might be a mess because she might respawn somewhere really crazy. Yeah, she respawns somewhere really crazy. Okay. Is there a place where there are some more generic enemies that you could fight that are a little less of a challenge? Not that I know of. You do need 4 or 5 people.
Arkham City, go to hell.
They need to not particularly be armed with guns. Otherwise you are going to get killed way too fast. In the early part of the game, there definitely was a sequence in an area where you would have had just your kind of generic thugs that didn't have weapons or knives or anything like that. But we don't have that now, at least not in an area I recognize or could think of. And it very possibly would make an argument that if you were to do this in a challenge area, that might make more sense. Right.
How come they're still keeping us in here? Arkham City will be closed down, right?
Alright, let's try this. These guys. And then these guys. And that should be enough. And if it were do those things in the same like fight, it would be doable way more, but it's do the two fights in the same combo flow, which is different. Because that means you can't break up the flow. And you obviously could have programmed it to just say, hey, when you trigger one of these things, you have 30 seconds to do the next thing. And that would be very reasonable to say you have within 30 seconds do the same move. Which honestly, that's pretty much the same solution. Oh. Okay. What I'm gonna do is switch back to Batman. Then we'll try to do the Batman thing.
Focus on keeping warm.
And then if we can get the Batman thing done, then we can use that as a checkpoint save point to switch back to Catwoman. Skip. And here we are as Blue Batman. Honestly, would have been a lot easier to fly around as Batman first. Right. So glide attack. I'm gonna hit X. I'm gonna then hold the right trigger, and then I'm going to press Y. There we go.
It is him. Kill him.
So that's once again just an example of if you understand the instructions, which the game, I don't know, maybe I've just been really stupid while playing this game, but I have definitely not understood the instructions of several of these challenges. Right, and that makes a save and puts us in a good position. That also unlocks concept art, which basically means this one probably won't even unlock anything. Right. I don't think it's even worth...
This ain't over. No way.
Yeah, I don't even think it's really worth it to do anything in the other drop down. Just wait for everybody to get close and then start trying to fight. One,
This is gonna hurt, creep.
3, 4. I don't think there's enough enemies here. By Batman taking out 2 enemies, there may not be enough left. And I guess there's just a wall around everything. So,
Look out! It's the cat.
yeah. I can maybe attract one more guy into the fight and run around. But that's it.
You're gonna die tonight.
Right. So let's get back up here. Do this. I'll probably die in this one.
Break you open, Catwoman. Just watch me.
Yeah, the problem I think I need to do here is probably be way more willing to press the X button and dive out of being potentially hit instead of doing the counter button. This definitely feels like a situation where the game has decided to just let me win, which that doesn't really help me in this weird situation. Apparently this was a hotel. We did nothing with that hotel.
So Riddler's back, huh? Big. I've seen these weird question marks
Okay.
all over Arkham City.
back down we go. Hopefully none of these are
Catwoman's here.
up. Alright, so
It's not that
1,
man.
2,
It's
3.
Catwoman. Kill her.
Not enough people
We gonna
close
have some
enough.
fun with you, kid.
Yeah. So that the people, they have to be close.
Tails.
They have to be unarmed, and you have to just get really lucky on that fight. Now I'm not sure.
Catwoman broke into Stranger's vault. How did she even know where it was?
You're dead now. He's over here. This must be some kind of joke. We got her.
Yeah. So I think those guys will
Judgment
try
is dead.
and shoot me too if I was to ignore them. We should give that a try, but yeah. I severely question whether this is worth your time. Or my time.
Joker died already. I lost count.
Right, so my thought would be to drop down, jump this way, come over here, run on this side,
I find out all this is for a crazy TV show.
and jump
I'm
down
gonna find the
here.
person that stuck me in this freezer and kill him.
It's Catwoman. It's Catwoman.
These guys do catch your attention, so
We
you do have that benefit where you can just run around and wait for them to all
We'll make sure
End
this
up-
hurts you, freak.
in the same area. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and even in that case, I really ran out of people to fight. So she does need, like, more people. I don't know if you can really pull this off. You can get one of the combos,
I'm gonna make
and if it were simply doing one of the combos, if it was simply doing one and then the other. Alright, well, I'm giving up on that. Because there's just a lot of possibility here for other things to also not work. So we can see, as far as the game is concerned, completion-wise, we've done 100% of the overall progress, 100% of upgrades and collectibles. We haven't done all of Catwoman's Riddler trophies. But to get higher, we'd have to do the Riddler's Revenge, which we're going to try that out. And then the Riddler's Revenge DLC seems to make it even more difficult. And then Harley Quinn's Revenge may be an incredibly short experience. As for what we actually unlock, I don't know if any of this is going to look good because we may have the fade in glitch. We have Azrael, and yeah, I don't think people cared about Azrael. I think one of the complaints, if I was to just randomly guess about Azrael, would be that you're trying to make this other Batman character, somebody that would replace Batman in a Batman comic, and I don't think people enjoyed that as a concept. But that certainly has been attempted multiple times through Batman comics, is the idea of introducing more characters, introducing new comic book DC characters. It's weird that you only get a shirtless Mr. Freeze. I would think that there would be other thugs that would have been shirtless, but I guess since it's snowing, that gets explained away. Here we have Clayface. Ooh. Clayface should have been attacking us a lot more often throughout the game, and he should have been somebody that we suspected would have been the mastermind the whole time. I think the twist doesn't really matter so much, like, because even in Arkham Asylum they introduced the idea of Clayface, and they showed you directly that Clayface could pretend to be anyone they wanted. They even showed in Arkham Asylum that Clayface had no bones, so if you were in detective mode, you would notice he didn't have a skeletal structure, which I'm not sure any of the characters actually did have skeletons, or I kind of feel like half the characters did. This guy didn't even show up in the game. What is his name? Killer Croc? Yeah, that's what they call him. No big explanation on the Penguin. Penguin didn't. Penguin's not going to be a physical foil for Batman, so he has to be kind of a smarter foil, which arguably that means the Penguin should have been around longer too, so that he potentially could have been the mastermind. Then you have like Jack Ryan, who played no role in the story. There's literally no reason to have Vicky Vale and Jack Ryan in the game. You merge those two characters together, and then you give more of a interaction to Batman to save the journalists. If Vicky Vale and Jack Ryan were on the radio, there was never a point when we turned on the radio and listened to it, and there was really never a point where the game told us to potentially turn on the radio and listen to it. So it is possible that that cryptography scanner that turns on the radio did have several hours of dialogue of Jack Ryan or Vicky Vale that would play. The Riddler, it's not... I wouldn't animate the Riddler this way, but I mean, it's fine if you do. Like, you can't really complain about any of the remakes of any of the characters when they're so underused, and there's just that reason to complain a lot more. This Batwing looks very different from the Batwing in the first game. And I guess maybe we did see this for a brief second as it maybe delivered the Batsuit at the beginning of the game. And then maybe it got shot down. That would have made a lot of sense. We never saw these guys. These would have been from the first game, I guess. So, yeah, there's definitely some unused content. Here we have the assassins, which they in particular looked awful the first time I played the game through because of the graphics load in, pop in, out, and pop in. There's a lot of detail on these tattoos on their arms and back and all, so they really needed their engine to work well, and it didn't. We barely fight these guys. Like, Catwoman, I think, fights these guys once, and that's it for the entirety of that experience, when it would make sense for there have been more of an incidents like this, like that here. I don't think we ever saw these guys either. There is something to the idea of wearing ski masks with Joker faces on it versus just wearing Joker makeup. And yeah, we may very well have skipped through some of this. And these are what, more just generic thugs with ski masks. Unless they're supposed to be penguin guys or Two-Face guys. They might supposed to be Two-Face guys because one side is clean and white and the other side is black and red. Yeah, I would guess Two-Face guys. And yeah, I know the mouse cursor is still in the middle of the screen. And then yeah, I don't think we fought these guys either. It almost feels like what they wanted to make here was an open world game that just went on forever and ever, and the characters would just level up in something similar to a Borderlands style game, which, yeah, I guess that would make some sense if I thought they could actually pull that off. And then the morning Harley Quinn outfit here never really gets done. They get rid of the blue on the side of her hair and it's just red and black. But it's pretty much the exact same outfit. She has a gun. Joker in the early comics would use like toy guns and such, so there would be an argument to the Joker using some kind of Joker gas gun. And then these Harley thugs. We haven't seen them, but they might be in the DLC. Yeah. And I guess Batman Inc. might have been one of the newer comics coming out when this game first came out. Let's see. There's really, I don't think, any reason why you would play a New Game Plus unless there was just an achievement for beating the game on New Game Plus. Let's see. Concept art. Here you have a lot of all in white concept art that this looks kind of cool, but you kind of also know that they were never going to make a game that looked like that. Here's Robin. Robin barely showed up in the game. That concept art doesn't really tell you anything at all. Those two thugs behind him never showed up, and Two-Face didn't look like that. So that would have been something either going in a completely different direction that was rejected, or something that was just very early in the process. Yeah, there's a difference between making concept art and just doing fan fiction of Batman, and something like this kind of feels more like fan fiction. First of all, because you don't have this as like a pencil sketch. This is fully colored in, fully finished. There's no eraser marks or notes or anything like that. This is just a picture somebody drew. Where you would expect it to be a lot less polished if it was true concept art. And maybe that's a case where they paid an artist too much to color in concept art, even after it had been rejected or originally submitted. Some concepts here do make it to the final part of the game, but not a lot. This is much closer to something of concept art, but even this I wouldn't really consider concept art, because it's so shadowed and shaded in. That's weird. It feels like one would hope that they paid and commissioned an artist very little to make a lot of this art as promotional material more than concept art, and they're just labeling it concept art. But then you also have the weird point that this is owned by Warner Brothers, so the same company that owns DC made this game, so it would only be paying one department another department's budget potentially to keep an artist employed. This is much closer to concept art. So maybe they had somebody that they wanted to keep on the payroll, and they had them draw a bunch of promo art and concept art for the game. Like, it would be very weird in general if that's a concept that wasn't ever done. Although that would have been cool. It'd be weird if this game hadn't been greenlit and there had just been one Arkham Asylum. Arguably, it might have been better if that was the case. I barely even recognize what this is. I think that's the dream sequence after you drank the Lazarus juice. And see, this obviously is the beginnings of the idea of the museum. These designs much fuzzier, less finished, but still colored in. Which I have to really complain about the color palette in this game. It is just so incredibly dark and ugly that even in this concept art, if it was shown as we're seeing it now, I would have hoped somebody would have said, no, this is too dark. We need a little bit more brightness and lighting in the game. It almost feels like there might have been a problem with this game in general, and they are hiding the problems with the game by making it darker. Which I guess... I don't think you're gonna really fix the game, though, if you turn the brightness all the way up. Like... yeah. It's just gonna make the game a little bit more grayer at that point. Yeah. It's not a brightness setting that's a problem. It's a color palette setting. Alright, well, let's give this a try. I guess we will start with just standard Batman. Various challenges to improve your skills. Are you tough enough to take on the Riddler's campaign? Fight your way through a brutal gauntlet of challenges while tactically choosing which modifiers to use on each map. The only requirement is you must use every modifier by the end of the campaign. Well, I guess we could quit out of a campaign just as easily as anything else. So we should probably just take the first one, and we're going to I guess in Melting Mayhem try to do smoke detector, mind your head, and shock tactics. In Blind Justice, you're just trying to get a combo up to a certain amount of points, which maybe I can do, maybe I can't. And Police Brutality, Blast Zone, Knockout Smash, and Window Pane, which we don't really know what any of that is, so let's try this. Okay. We have 3 retries. Let's see, we could remove, we could add a time limit to complete the challenge, defeat the enemies to extend your time limit. One enemy will be surrounded by protective aura, which prevents them from taking damage. The aura moves from one enemy to an enemy over time. Player will slowly regain lost health over time. Okay. And so probably want that in the fight sequence. Yeah, I think it's going to be fairly obvious that this is not something I want to do, and that this is going to be a lot of work. Let's see. So we want to do a smoke bomb, and we want to knock down a henchman with a batarang and finish him off with a ground takedown, and then we want to shoot him with the a remote electric gadget and cause them to fire into the air, scaring another henchman. Right. And this is that area, so...
We own Arkham City. Screw anyone else who thinks they do.
And we've got a timer here. And...
This room contains the cream of what is available in this godforsaken cesspit of a prison. You ignorant buffoons should consider yourselves nearly as intelligent as a retarded monkey.
I'm taking down Batman from me. Screw Riddler.
Alright. So...
Arkham City is ours.
Like, yeah, I don't know if there's really a timing factor here, other than you just shouldn't take
Let's
that
see how you
this long.
microscopically brained automatons perform. I am not expecting great things.
Came from over here, I'm sure of it.
Okay. So now we've got those two guys looking over me.
Even I expected more than this. Not much more, granted, but still. More intellectual prowess than you are currently showing.
Come on, someone must know where he is.
Please don't think that was some sort of victory over me. It wasn't.
Time to die! I got him, he's over here!
Okay.
Some kind of...
Smoke! He's used some kind of grenade! Trying to hide his tracks.
Well,
What's wrong with you?
knock him down and do a ground takedown. So apparently that was like the only one of those. So it's another example of just being totally in detective mode. He had to scare, to get that to work, you would have had to scare another henchman with a shotgun, and I guess I had to wait until he panicked. So it does feel like you probably don't want to do the campaign mode, really. You probably want to do these. We'll do each of these modifiers for this fight.
You're all going down.
You're gonna die, Batman!
Alright.
Time to retire, Batman!
So what does the red mean? I don't know.
I'll kill you!
So that got me 330 score,
This is not going to be pretty.
and that's a perfect round bonus, so we're just gonna keep on going. Okay,
You scared,
I see.
Batman?
so we need to basically hurry up. And really, all this is going to come down to is a situation of your fingers cramping up more than anything else, unless they start to just throw more points at you. It seems like you're going to have to go 5 or 6 rounds. And I guess if you could play as Catwoman as this, you probably would be able to maybe do both of those challenges as far as the special moves and the Riddler trophy, but they almost certainly wouldn't unlock because you're not in the main game. So yeah,
I don't have time for this.
it feels like maybe they've improved the situation slightly better compared to the first game with these challenges, but it's still really just asking you to do things that only work if you are really good at the free-flowing fight mechanic, which clearly years later did not get adopted by any other game system. Like we have some games where you fight and have free-flowing attacks like this, but they are not beloved because of that system by any means. So yeah, I really don't see myself doing this, and it seems like this will just continue forever unless there's a specific number. Nope, it's a very specific number. Alright, well, we did this, so we can't turn it on again.
You're going down.
There's all these little load sections. Explode a weak wall into a henchman and knock him out. During a silent takedown, perform a knockdown smash to take down the henchman instantly. Perform a takedown through a glass window. Okay. Well.
Anyone wants a piece of me, step up and give it your best shot.
Okay.
Here's the plan. We spread out, we find the son of a bitch. Got it?
I don't know if there's...
Do not let him scare you. He uses a simple collection of theatrical tricks and pantomime effects to strike terror into your tiny lizard brains.
There's an explodable wall, so we'll have to go, I think, in that direction first. We'll just...
Huh? This way! You went this way!
He got away.
He's using smoke.
Yeah, I don't know if it really is worth...
What the hell are you doing? I nearly shot you. You need to stay frosty, man. What the hell's going on here?
Nope, that didn't work.
What could have made a hole like that?
Do we have any other walls that we could even do?
Even I expected more than this. Not much more, granted, but still. More intellectual prowess than you are currently showing.
Over here! I got him! He's over here! Up there! I see him!
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna...
What are you gonna do when you ain't got nowhere to hide, huh?
I don't think you're gonna really succeed with each of the tricks at this rate. I think it's probably safer just to finish it and be done with it.
Someone must know where he is.
See, this guy is just not close enough for me to do the takedown. I could try that, certainly, but I don't think that's gonna work.
2 down, all of you to go.
Riddler's so damn smart. Why doesn't he escape from... What?
He's back!
Come on, knockout smash. But see, even
What's wrong?
your effort there
your
can
prince-
easily fail, and you only have 3 retries, so let's just finish this and let's get it done as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Bring it on.
And this is just loading because you can't skip this. Alright, well,
The
I
boss wants
think
this place kept safe. No problem.
you do this first. And then you go over here. And there probably is a very scripted and easy way to pull this off.
This is no good. He won't wake up.
Like, I suspect there's
How's he doing this?
very much a way.
We need to keep looking or we're all dead. What's wrong? Two skips.
Ah! Who's screaming? Get over here, there's someone up there! What are you doing up there?
So that's
Help
2.
me out.
There's no way you're gonna get stealth around that.
What's going on?
Leave. There are
Let's
more
see.
important things to be looking out for. This isn't gonna work, you know. We'll find you and kill you.
We need to attract nearby enemies, but I don't know if that...
Are you feeling the pressure?
I'm not doing this for you, Riddler.
Huh?
Alright, so we attract that guy. And we'll just hope that he gets super close.
Get over and find out who's screaming.
Alright.
Man down! Man down! Huh? Over here! I got it! Where you going? Too scared to hang around? I lost him.
Alright, so that should leave exactly 1 guy. So,
Oh God! I lost him!
Please don't think that that was some sort of victory over me. It wasn't.
so we have our terrified guy. And so now it's just a matter of waiting until we can get behind him to do
The
a smash.
sensation you are experiencing is easily overcome using advanced mental calming techniques. Unfortunately,
I have no
you are
idea
all
what
far
the...
too stupid to perform them.
Huh? Keep up! He's this way!
Oops.
It's
I
moving. It's up in the
accidentally
air. Don't
dive
look
bombed
at it. It can come
myself.
from anywhere.
It's funny, he's talking, but it sounds like 2 or 3 people are talking.
Leave me
'cause
alone, Batman.
I feel like that what they've done is they've got it programmed so it just plays a certain sound effect. This might be a case where it's easier to
I think it's becoming clear to us all
not
that
be
you
in
will die
detective
another.
mode.
I can't begin to explain how disappointed I am in you.
I'm not gonna be the one that lets Batman get away.
So he's looking around the other direction.
What the hell are you?
So, yeah, the problem we have here is he's turning around too much.
Is that one of Freeze's machines?
There's someone over here.
I don't know if that counts as a stealth takedown, but apparently it did. I didn't perform a takedown through a glass window, apparently, which is funny because I think I did, but I guess you had to be through a vertical glass window, which I don't know if that means that you would have to do this whole level in one go to get to each of those trophies, or if you would just have to play it multiple times. So that was 4 out of 9 for the campaign, which to me, I think means, yeah, there's a level of insanity here, definitely. There's totally a level of insanity. Nothing overlaps. This blind justice sequence, which doesn't have modifiers, I guess.
Don't make me.
And that's the only slight difference. Is the exact same fight. And since you know what you're trying to do here, what you can is you can try and go for as quick and as fast and as high as a combo you can do.
Looking for me?
And do gadget variations and other things like that. Let's see. Okay. So if it has a fist icon, it's a fight challenge map. If it has one of these maps, it's a predator map. We did those. And then we have fist downloaded maps. That's how we have a Joker's Carnival fight, and then we have a Black Mask downloaded map, Freight Train map, Batcave. I think these are probably the more interesting maps that you actually would want to check out because this is new content.
Happening tonight in Joker's Funhouse.
Alright. Apparently you're supposed to bank your collective points somehow.
What do you know? It's the Cape Crusader himself. Are we ready?
We are gonna hurt you, bad freak.
You're supposed to be the ones doing the hitting.
Very metallic sounding hits.
Boo! Ready for more?
He's throwing out weapons.
This will go so much quicker if you just stop fighting.
It seems to me like you're probably full of all of your items. Well, almost all of them. You're missing one. And full health. Alright. So you bank your score with a right bump, which I assume at that point
Level 2.
maybe starts over the level of difficulty on the enemies. But I don't know if, and see, that's an interesting fat thug character. And I got hit. Okay. So you can't bank if you don't have any skill points at all. And this is counting down, so you have a limited amount of time.
Can you feel that?
And I've forgotten what you even do to take on the taser guys.
There's more where that came from.
Yep. So
This is going to hurt, bad freak. You're gonna die here.
yeah. Not a single point there.
Hardly a surprise.
Okay. I assume the Iceberg VIP Lounge is going to be pretty much the exact same situation.
To the Iceberg Lounge's VIP room.
This says survive as long as you can on an endless wave of enemies. Apparently this one doesn't have that bank mechanic.
Put your hands together for the Dark Knight. It's Batman!
These do feel like concepts that would have been better in the main game if you were going to put any effort into developing them in the first place. I don't think you should have put budget and effort into developing these challenges because frankly the city could have used more levels and the main game could have used a lot more content. Once again, it looks like we've got some new like body size different models. Still not really going with females, but big white guys and big black guys is, I guess, moving closer towards diversity. Guys with mohawks.
I'll kill you, freak.
So
This thing's going with
I guess what you're just waiting until you die in a fight like this, because it's just gonna go forever, which with this fight mechanic there's nothing saying you couldn't really go on forever and just until your fingers cramped or your computer reset or the end of the universe happened. What's a shame, I feel like, is that this Iceberg Lounge is decorated, and this is not just the Iceberg Lounge that we saw in the main game. There's all these penguin balloons and confetti and chairs stacked up. It probably wouldn't have been terrible if there was a fight like this in the main game. But yeah, that was half as much score as you needed to get the lowest level of medallions on that. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump into these other levels and see what they have to offer. This maybe is gonna have us actually fight Black Mask, but I guess it is.
This room contains the cream of what is available in this godforsaken cesspit
I don't
of a
know why
prison.
the Riddler's
You
talking.
ignorant buffoons should consider yourselves nearly as intelligent as a retarded monkey.
I'm not gonna be the one that lets Batman get away.
Who's screaming? God! Everyone, get your asses over here now!
Yeah, and really the only thing I want to do is look at this level. This almost certainly is just a level from Arkham City, Arkham Origin. I am glad this game didn't have us opening a bunch of crates like that. We did a lot of that in the first game.
Oh, this is very exciting. Who will win? Well, obviously that will be me. So, who will lose first? You or the rats running that maze like their lives depend on it?
Not one little bit.
Okay, Riddler, I get it.
And see, now that I know you could do that this whole time, like, that totally changes how the whole game works.
Not you too? What happened? Just wake up, come on! What's wrong?
So yeah, I don't care particularly what the other other medallions or medals or challenges are. This doesn't feel like we're fighting Black Mask though. So, yeah. What we should expect, what should we check there is now that we have one of these, when we go back into this mission, do we have to do the same thing again, or is it already done?
You're going down.
Nope.
Clears,
What's stupid enough to take us on?
yeah. If anything, it does seem to imply that you would have to get all of the medals. I don't know why I keep trying to call them medallions. It does look like you would have to get all 3 of them at the in the same run, which once again just is an insane level of difficulty. I really don't understand why you would have your entire difficulty set this way. And this really shows how this engine could be used for the Mortal Kombat games, and this is made by NetherRealm, the same developers of Mortal Kombat. That honestly, I suspect this engine is better suited at making Mortal Kombat games than it is making Batman games. And that is why, that probably explains why some of this Batman stuff feels very clunky. It's interesting, there's just meat hanging in this train. By giving you a basically 2D or 2.5D beat 'em up experience for this level, you can't pull off any of Batman's tricks and gadgets, and it does just turn it into a fighting experience at that level. But I don't even think you're really going to get a big combo. I mean, I just don't think there's going to be enough people here to really facilitate a large free-flowing combo that would let you do special moves. This definitely feels like a sequence that would have been very memorable in the main game, but because it's downloadable content, I assume it was finished months later after the original game was released. Like, if your subway sequence to get from one side of the city to the other, there's a shirtless guy. It was always this, and there was many fast travel points where you have to fast travel, but by fast traveling you either ride on top of the rails or you end up fighting people. That would be fine. Let's see.
You will die here, little bat! Hold still while I pound your face into the
Let's see.
dirt.
1, 2, 3.
You may want to run, Bat.
So yeah, I don't think there is any other way to beat on this guy other than just hitting him. That might be one of the Black Mouse goons.
I will bury you.
Yeah. Yeah, that does feel like a Black Mask goon that we're fighting here. Or more of just a general mobster characters. But you don't really have like general mobster style thugs in the Batman universe anymore. They're all working for psychopaths like I cannot beat this guy, so I don't know. I think I probably should just let this guy get up and then try and do a beat 'em up attack here. Destroy the control box. Which, yeah, that's also something that would have been cool in the main game. That didn't get me even to the second tier. And clearly in those type of levels, you obviously are going to have to you're obviously going to have to do them all. Wayne Manor as a concept, even a small part of Wayne Manor is a cool idea in any Batman game. Yeah, instead of Catwoman being caught stealing from Two-Face, which I think is what happened at the beginning of this game many hours ago, Batman being caught in Wayne Manor, or Bruce Wayne being caught in Wayne Manor and dragged off to Arkham City from his own house would have been more interesting, certainly.
Don't make me hurt you.
But once again, I just assume this is a case where this content and this room was not designed until months after the release of the game. These guys are getting tougher and tougher. The problem here is I just want to look at the room. I don't even want to do this fight, and I don't even know why I bothered to do this fight. Let's just exit. I think that is pretty much everything in a nutshell with this game, is that there has been easily 15 hours of content, I would say, that had I just tried to have a speedrunner style abridged experience, I could have avoided. Like it totally
Arkham City is ours.
It totally would make sense to just have seen the storyline content and move forward to the next game.
This room will destroy you, Batman. I, Edward Nigma, have constructed a cerebral puzzle of such ingenuity that I fear you will die here. Still, don't cry. No one will miss you.
Where the hell did he get smoke from?
So there's all kinds of like little secrets and doors.
You fools are performing at a level significantly below
gargoyles.
what I had expected.
Yeah, it looks nice. You have a whole painting that's new. There's something over here. To climb up over to this.
Someone must know where he is.
It's a little weird that there's
This is really not good enough, Cretans.
I'm not doing this for you, Riddler. I'm going after the Bat for what he did to me back at the asylum.
But these are like Tiger security guards, are they not? All kinds of swords and shields. If you're gonna have all these types of swords and shield
Where did he go?
things, you probably should have armed some of the bad guys with swords and shields. And I have to just assume that
Who will win? Well,
everything
obviously,
in
that'll
this
be me.
download
So,
content,
who will lose first? You or the rats running that maze like their lives depend on it?
I have to just assume that they.
Anyone know what happened to this wall? It's freaking gone. Batman.
Yeah, and I totally forgot about the guys with the special goggles. Oh, I guess these are not. These are just a random assortment of thugs. Yep. I would say there is still this problem. I didn't mean to hit retry there. There is definitely still a problem where you are effectively not given
I don't have time for
any
this.
support
Let's
if you
make it
do get
quick.
into a fight. So it's just punishment on top of punishment on top of punishment. Unless you just love the fighting section, which I don't think you put a game with this many collectibles together if you think the players just want to fight. Clearly, what this boils down to is that there should be 2 Batman games that were released at the same time. There should be a Gods Among Us style Mortal Kombat where you're playing as like superheroes fighting Batman or supervillains fighting Batman, which they did have that game come out, a couple of the versions of that game. And then the Arkham Batman game should be the more Metroidvania-esque experience where you're barely fighting anything at all. It's not about fighting, it's about collecting, it's about running around and investigating, doing a little bit more detective work. Yeah. Definitely feels very weird to not be able to have gotten to the Batcave by the time you're 2 games in. Let's see. The thing too is you could have easily been allowed to leave and go Arkham City and go back to the Batcave at any point, or even just have another Batcave in Arkham City, because once once the Joker had already poisoned Batman and poisoned the city, there's no way Batman can give up on his mission. Like, even if Batman would potentially pretend like he would love to see the Joker die, he wouldn't do it with the rest of the the rest of Gotham in danger.
Report. Any contact? Target is moving this way.
Here we have a Batmobile.
On me. Target spotted.
And we may even have a Batboat. but I don't think we do. We instead have a waterfall that the Batmobile goes through and drives through.
4 intruders remaining.
Here you have the Bat computer telling you how many intruders are remaining. So a sequence like this would have been more interesting than doing the augmented reality challenges.
Well, so the shaved monkey.
Alright. So we know what the challenges are, and we've gotten 2 of 93 medals. We know what the campaigns are, and there's a lot of them, and they would just be remixes of the previous challenges that you would already have done. This stuff shouldn't exist in the first place, but if it was going to exist, it frankly should be a standalone demo of the main game, or its own thing. You can also make custom challenges, which I assume would not give you any collectibles towards that 100% completion. Now, there are 213 for Batman overall, we can tell, medals for the challenges. But then there's 213 different ones for Catwoman, which that sounds very much like they are just trying to make you play the game 4 different times over. It doesn't look to me like much is changing as far as the challenges between Catwoman and Batman. And then you are in this weird position, I suppose, where I would need to, let's see, like find a Predator map and jump in as Robin and just see what items Robin has. Because I kind of assume that the Robins are just going to be skins. Let's see. Robin has a bullet shield.
Who's stupid enough to mess with
He has a snap flash. Which snap.
You are all insects compared with I, the Riddler.
He has different
Don't let that upset
icons.
you, though. You were the best I could find.
He has a shuriken.
Robin's mine. I'll drag his scrawny ass back to Riddler and collect
Don't
my
know
reward.
why you would have different lines of dialogue. It all kind of just doesn't make sense. Unless this is just skins and content that existed for Arkham Origins, and this was stuff that NetherRealm Studios didn't want to have in the game in the first place. Right.
What?
On me! I got him!
Like, it's still the same smoke pellets. So still the same everything. Like, it's really not much of a different experience. It's just different challenges and a different character with slightly different abilities. And doing the challenge alone doesn't really get you anything. So I assume then it's a case where Nightwing has slightly different abilities too. So we'll check that out. My only hope here is that the Harley Quinn DLC, which I'm trying to save for the next recording, is really, really long. Otherwise, the Harley Quinn DLC is going to be extremely short.
We own Arkham City. Screw anyone else who thinks they do.
Okay. So you have a wrist dart. We have some kind of stick. We have a very different kind of scan mode.
I've got him! He's over here!
I don't know what that stick does.
Reloading!
Seems just to be a stick he throws.
Damn gun's jammed.
Alright. Has a wingding. Do we have the ability to glide? Yeah, I just don't think he has a glide cape, so I don't think he can glide at all.
You're not getting... On me! I got him!
And he's not really stronger, so, and he doesn't seem to be really prompting for
Well.
any kind
So
of
the
smoke
shaved monkey
bombs,
has
so he may
failed.
not have that either.
Utterly expected.
I just don't get it. I don't get why you would put so much effort into making nearly 1,000 medals to collect through nearly 300 challenges. Like, it seems once again like somebody just shot off their mouth and said you could play as Catwoman, you could play as Red Robin, you could play as Nightwing, and then they had to put in some kind of content to make it true. Like, easily I would leave the Riddler's Revenge content on the cutting room floor. I would have left it on the cutting room floor in the main game. Plus, doing all of that really only got us 2% towards being finished with that. We also got, I guess, a couple of the Riddler's Revenge DLC. Yeah, this is one of those games that oddly highlights where it highlights a point where the Game of the Year version of a game might not be really worth it if both versions of the game are available and the original version of the game is way cheaper. And that was the plot around DLC always, was the idea that it was a way of keeping the prices high on older games. So I'm going to end this episode here. We've gone an hour and 15 minutes, very long. Fingers crossed, Harley Quinn's Revenge will take at least an hour. I am not really expecting too much from it, though, because if we look, Harley Quinn Revenge seems to be just a story percentage and balloons. So if it's through all of Arkham City, you're just destroying a lot of balloons or putting up a lot of balloons. I couldn't imagine that there would be more than 80 balloons in total. And as far as the actual story, if Harley Quinn's Revenge is going to have her run around and fight the Penguin, Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, everybody once, that really can't be that much gameplay unless she has to work her way and play completely differently through the different levels, which maybe that's how that's going to play out. I seriously doubt Harley Quinn's Revenge, though, is going to be a game in itself and a New Game Plus concept. The New Game Plus concept in itself doesn't really make sense at the way it's been delivered. It would make a lot more sense if you had to play if you in the New Game Plus could swap between Catwoman or Harley Quinn or Robin or Nightwing. Or if you had a new game section where you play as each of those characters for some small amount of time, that would make a lot more sense, instead of just this additional content that I didn't appreciate in Arkham Asylum, and I don't really appreciate it in Arkham City. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.